Thank you for joining our webinar. My name is Heather Mills, and I'm the Senior Director of Corporate Marketing at ServicePower. And now I'd like to introduce our presenters. Joe Abusamra is our Director of Product Marketing at ServicePower. Tim Griffiths is our Senior Sales Engineer at ServicePower. And Danette Beal is the Senior Digital Marketing Manager over at Streem. And now over to you, Joe.
Thanks, Heather. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited for this discussion and demonstration. First, because this is a topic that's really on so many people's and organizations' minds. We're hearing a lot about it in our conversations we're having with companies that provide field service and support. And secondly, Tim gives a fantastic demo. I've been with ServicePower just a little over a couple of months. I've seen him in action several times, and he always provides a great view of the capabilities on whatever topic he's talking about. So I'm looking forward to Tim showing some augmented reality highlights. Before we get started, I'd like to provide just a brief overview of ServicePower, and then Danette will give a little overview on Streem, and then we'll get into it. As we all know, consumer expectations continue to go up. That's for consumers we work with, it's for ourselves. We all want faster response times, we want self-service capabilities, and want to know at all times what's going on with the status of our job. To accomplish this, we and our customers want a seamless customer journey that meets these expectations. And that's what we're focused on at ServicePower. For us, it's really about transforming service experiences so the consumer or end user and customer knows at all times what's going on. Our mission, as you can see here, is to transform service experiences by enabling delightful, transparent, and timely service experiences. This is what we at ServicePower are all about. We're laser focused on, whatever our roles in the company are. And we strive to make sure everything we do is fulfilling that mission of great customer experiences. You can see here a depiction of our technology suite. On the left side are the modules that we use to manage employed workers or technicians or even adjusters for insurance organizations in the field. These are your employees, your W-2s as it were. This left side is the set of products we have to manage them. We optimize schedules, provide a mobility tool and smart service for technicians or field adjusters to update their status and individual schedules based on a wide variety and wide range of variables such as traffic, parts availability, and more. Then you see over on the right side, you can see our modules for managing third-party contractors, those that are providing services for organizations. And in the middle, our capability for managing a blended workforce where you can route jobs to either your employed workforce or your contractors based on some predefined business rules. Overlaying it all, our customer engagement capabilities to engage with customers and provide them with self-service capabilities for scheduling, status updates, notifications, and the like, as well as reporting and analytics, a module there that spans all the modules as well. On this next slide, you can see an overview of the capabilities we offer. Again, exceptional customer experience journey, seamless management of a blended workforce. Again, that's the employed and contractors together and managing that between them. Real-time schedule optimization and capacity management of those workforces, and also giving your field technicians a mobile app to enable them to do a lot of this on their own. And the result of these capabilities are some key business outcomes from our solutions that you can see on the last column on the right here. Things like higher customer satisfaction, reduced call center volumes, higher productivity and utilization by allowing people to do more jobs and doing them faster and better, and overall providing better service and quality. So in a nutshell, these are the types of benefits customers see, and here you can see a few statistics that kind of highlight the benefit you get out of this. So when you add augmented reality to the mix, it gets really exciting, and that's what we're looking forward to discussing and showing today. Before we get into that, I want to pass it over to Danette for a brief overview on Streem. Danette?
Yes, thank you, Joe. Again, my name is Danette Beal, and I'm really excited to be here. I am a senior marketing manager over at Streem, and at Streem, I think we complement you all very well. We are here to make the world's expertise more accessible to all. That is our mission. And we do that through using patented AR and AI technology to solve some of the real world problems that customers and some of the largest brands have out there. Our product and technology team have decades of experience creating innovative technologies. And we were recently acquired in 2019 by Front Door, and they themselves have 50 years experience in home service, as well as over 17,000 contractors that they work with and millions of customers. Our product is really, we create consumer grade video experiences where we connect consumers and experts via the video on their mobile device. We use the camera to overlay augmented reality to enhance the collaboration. And we don't just use the camera to overlay information, but we extract context and data information such as object recognition and OCR to capture serial and model numbers. And we have a few different experiences for consumers. The easiest experience that consumers can use is through their mobile web application. So this is not through an app. It doesn't actually have a download. They can use whatever web Safari or Chrome that they have on their mobile device to be able to interact with us. This leads to faster connections and remote troubleshooting, and they still have the opportunity to use augmented reality tools. We also have our iOS and Android apps available. So if they wanted to interact with advanced remote or advanced AR tools such as Remote Measure, 3D Arrow, they can do that through our iOS app. We also have an on-site experience that field service technicians love, where they can actually capture on-site and record and send that to whatever teams they need. We actually have an expert view available for experts that are at the contact centers. So it embeds into the tools that they use every single day. So there's a single pane of glass within the CRM systems that they use. So they don't need to have an additional application available on their desktop. It's used in those tools that they have.
Thanks, Ned. That was some really, really cool stuff. So really looking forward to the discussion here. So yeah, thanks again, Danette, and let's get this conversation started. What's on top of mind for field service execs? For me, first and foremost, is that high expectations we discussed of consumers. The capabilities that companies like ServicePower and Streem provide are really a means to the end. We want to delight the customers. It's both what we're really kind of all about. Organizational leaders certainly don't want technology for its own sake, and I'd probably make the argument that the more invisible technology is, the better. And when it comes to AR, it can certainly improve the customer experience, whether that's through better quality from a better understanding of the customer's environment, or a feeling of enablement for the consumer through faster and self-resolution of problems. And companies that can exploit things like AR, as well as improve the overall digital experience for customers, I feel are going to be the leaders. So, Danette, you have any thoughts on this to set the stage here?
Yeah, well, I think you definitely hit the nail on the head in a few of those areas. Some of the biggest areas that we're seeing that consumers have been focusing on in the past several years is that they want to get their answers as quickly as possible and as little touch points as possible on the device or channel that they choose. Now, brands are getting really good at this through digital transformation strategies and different strategies with automation and self-service to get those consumers the answers that they need. So when a human isn't involved, it's actually becoming very optimized. But when you put that human interaction in place, specifically around field service, that's when it starts to feel a little bit more of a struggle. So this has also been exacerbated by the labor shortage that we have. This is something that field service executives are well aware of and are trying to figure out today. We're seeing field service leaders use AR and AI strategies to help optimize processes, help enable and empower field service technicians to meet the consumer needs and demands that they have to be able to get those solutions as quickly as possible.
Great, thanks, Danette. Great perspective there. Okay, so let's get started with our first question here for the panel. How can augmented reality directly impact customer satisfaction and the customer experience? So we've discussed how important customer satisfaction and experience are to the success of an organization. I'd like now to get into some specifics on how AR can directly impact satisfaction and that experience. Now, when it comes to support and improving that experience, there have to be some real examples of where AR can be a big help. Jeanette, you and your organization live and breathe this stuff every day. Can you share some examples here?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we touched upon that consumers really want to get solutions as quick as possible. And Senekwawu recently spoke with us from Front Door, and he has a great example of this within air conditioning. You know, it's very hot, especially in the Western United States right now. And if your air conditioner breaks, you don't care how great the service is. You don't care how many touch points or how nice the person was on the other side of the phone. You just care that you have cold air. So being able to connect a worker or a technician with a consumer ahead of time is able to, in some cases, reduce even having an on-site visit by 70%. So that's the type of impact that we're seeing. Just by connecting those two people ahead of time using video with AR-powered solutions can a lot of times even make it so we don't even have an on-site visit. And the reason behind that is that augmented reality solutions help break down communication barriers. So consumers in general, they want to help. They want to solve their own problems. They want to be a part of the solution, but they may not have the expertise or even the terminology to be able to explain what's going on. So just even being able to give the consumer the opportunity to look, or excuse me, even giving the expert the opportunity to look at that job site ahead of time with the customer, where the customer doesn't need to have the terminology behind them to explain the situation, they can guide with AR, allows the customer to be a part of that process. This is a massive improvement from what we've seen in the past. You know, consumers are used to having large scheduling times. They're used to needing 2 to maybe and sometimes 3 on-site visits to be able to solve a problem. So preparing those field service technicians ahead of time, or even not having to have them on site at all, gives customers the confidence that if they do need to be on site, that they're going to be prepared every single time, and that in the case of Senna, they will have cold air.
Great, thanks, Danette. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I loved your example because a couple of weeks ago, our air conditioner went out for just a day in the middle of a heat wave, though, and I certainly can relate that I just wanted cool air. That's all I wanted and all I cared about. So great, thanks for that. Tim, you have any experiences you'd like to share on this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Danette did a great job concentrating on a few of those. What we're hearing from our customers in the field service space, think about the workforce of folks that are going out and fixing major appliances and consumer electronics. The reality is that's an aging workforce. And so these guys have a ton of experience. They're very good at what they do, but they're getting a little tired of traveling, you know, from home to home or business to business on a day-to-day basis. So as these companies are hiring, you know, younger, newer, maybe apprentice technicians, they like to keep these experts, maybe you know, have them on call, sitting at a desk, helping in other ways. So when a young tech goes into a home and maybe they need a little help, they're stuck on the repair. Being able to use augmented reality is a great way to be able to dial that expert up. Use the phone that you're carrying anyway to point at the problem and have the expert help you out directly, and utilize all the tools that that Streem brings to assist with that. Also, if 2020 taught us anything, the world is definitely moving more virtual, and nobody's seeing this more than our customers in the insurance space. So property and casualty, where there's an auto insurance claim, or there might be a home insurance claim, where the adjuster in the field might be able to do the work on that claim and do the adjustment work remotely. And so having these tools with augmented reality just makes it much easier for them to do their jobs. In fact, they might be able to dial up they might be looking at a claim, and rather than driving to that location, they may want to reach out to the customer directly using AR, using Streem, and take a look ahead of time. And they might be able to take a in-person visit, turn it into a virtual visit, and speed up the process, right? So that's certainly another way to do that. The other thing that our customer, or the other workforce that our customers utilize, is what we call third-party contractors, right? So these OEM companies, major appliance companies, they have third-party contractors that do spillover work, or where there may not be a employee technician geography-wise. So being able to have them these contractors reach out directly to the GEs and the LGs and the Electroluxes of the world, because I mean, let's face it, these refrigerators, dishwashers, these smart home appliances are becoming very technical. So having a direct relationship with the manufacturer is another great use of augmented reality.
Yeah, I'd actually like to add on to that augmented reality, especially with video, allows an assurance for some of those brands as well. So say you've got a big brand such as the GEs of the world that rely on those third-party contractors. They have a recording and actual photos that come with AR inside of them that come out of that job site visit, so that they can really understand and see that the branded experience that they work so hard on is going through all the way to those third parties. So I would agree that is a really big piece that we can really emphasize and help with AR.
Absolutely. Thanks, Danette. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I mean, great perspective. And certainly, I know Tim and both Danette, you're working across industries, so you've seen it manifest itself in different industries, and some great insight there. Appreciate that. Okay, let's move on to the next question now. What are some examples of how augmented reality can assist in an organization's field enablement? So while we've looked at AR from a customer experience standpoint, let's talk a little bit about field enablement for those in the field, whether on-site or even from the standpoint of those in the main office or call center, or from a cost reduction standpoint. There are also some big wins that can be achieved here. Tim, I know you've had some experience here. You want to talk to that a little bit, please?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I've already mentioned a couple, but there are certainly many, many more. So think of that frontline customer service person. The person at the help desk that's taking a phone call. A consumer is having a problem with their major appliance, or something in their home, and they're calling for help. Well, before anybody rolls a truck and sends a technician to help, every one of these organizations tries to do a little triage, right? Is it plugged in? Do you have the red wire plugged into the blue wire? Augmented reality here is absolutely going to help that first line support to be able to view what's going on, right? The audio, I can hear, if it's a motor running or a pump not working right, I can actually listen and hear what the what's going on. I can use the augmented reality tools to point and to point at the problem and ask the consumer to can you flip this button? Can you take a look at this switch? Those type of things. But the fact that these things are recorded, means that they're also saved. So if we do have to send a technician, the recording could actually be made part of that work order, right? So these sessions can be saved along with the work order ticket that gets created for the problem. And now the field resource can view the video, can see see not only what's going on with the asset, but also hear what the consumer is asking, hear what the frontline support person is saying to try to triage and diagnose what's going on. It's a great use of the application. Another one that we've seen, and I know this happens with my electric company, these power companies are offering programs around energy, home energy inspections, right? They would like to send an expert into your home to take a look at and find different ways that you can, you as a homeowner can make your home more energy efficient and ultimately save electricity, save money. Well, absolutely, we can send an expert into somebody's home if they're willing to have this type of service performed. But why not have the homeowner just walk around with their phone and take a look at the water heater, take a look at the insulation, take a look at what's going on with the air conditioning and the heat pumps and things of that nature. So it's another great use case, and again, having the recording saved is extremely valuable. And then the final thought here is, since these sessions are saved, and we have a lot, we're trying to get younger people involved as a workforce. These become great training videos, right? So if I have a dishwasher that's not heating properly, why not use it to train my younger technicians to be able to make them better? And of course, being able to do things like increase the first-time fix rates, getting the job done quickly and efficiently. That ties directly to customer experience and customer satisfaction. So you will absolutely see your CSAT scores increase.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, great example. I mean, I can certainly attest to a time when I had a pretty young guy come out to do some service at my house, and in the end, he had to leave and have somebody else come back, so that would alleviate that kind of thing. So yeah, great example there. Danette, what are your thoughts on this area?
Yeah, Tim touched on the recordings, and there's a lot of power in that. Today within CX and organizations, they're really focusing on connected data and making sure that their departments are not siloed and that they can get as much as they possibly can and share and have transparency across their organization. Now with Streem and with AR-powered experiences, if you think about that recording and being able to integrate that into the systems that you use every day, and make it available to those expert teams, you have just made that a very powerful offering. So it's no longer in the technician's cell phone or notepad or truck in some circumstances. It's now available in the cloud. So if you need to get a product manager involved to spec something out for maybe a highly complex piece of machinery, they can be a part of the process, consume that recording, and make informed decisions out of that. So on the devices that they use. So that is one thing that I see that, handheld devices, mobile devices have come a really long way. They are what we use every single day. I don't think any of us could live our lives without our mobile device. And we're really starting to see the power of AR inside those mobile devices and empowering people to be more connected and to have these great consumer experiences, but also feel like they're very empowered in their work every single day.
Great, thanks, Danette. Yeah, interesting. You touched on the complexity of things now, so this is certainly something that can help in that regard a lot as well. And yes, the ubiquity of our mobile devices. So thanks for that. Okay, one final question before we get to our demo. How is augmented reality being used to reduce expenses, increase revenue, and grow business? So, while our focus of this webinar has been about the customer experience and a little bit of sales enablement or field enablement, that's the focus of ServicePower, and Danette's talked a lot about it as well with Streem. We all know that often when you improve customer satisfaction, many other good things happen. Danette, would you like to talk a little bit about how AR, besides improving satisfaction and the experience, can also help reduce expenses or increase revenue and generally grow the business?
Yeah, I would love to. The biggest piece about AR that companies need to focus on when they're building out AR products, such as Streem, is that you need to make it as easy to interact with as possible. So we have taken a very consumerized approach to applying AR. We're solving real world problems. We have a very consumerized UI, both on the expert side as well as the customer side. So we're breaking down those barriers to engage and collaborate with AR. And we're making it very easy for that collaboration to happen. You don't need an app, you don't need to download an app to do this. And because of that, both B2C and B2B organizations are able to use this across the entire CX journey. So you're going to be collaborating with customers, if you're in B2B or B2C, at different times with that human touch. And we've seen this on the sales side, being able to reduce sales cycles by 78%. So again, if you think about that remote experience, maybe you have a field technician who goes out and has to do some quoting. They're able to do that remotely, get that quote back to the sales rep, at a reduction of 78%. That's pretty powerful. A lot of times they can actually increase their quoting capacity. So if you have a field service technician who's going out, maybe they're helping service and sales together, and they're able to do more jobs because they can do it remotely. That's also very powerful for a company when they're trying to reduce spend and really get the most out of their labor force. We're also seeing a huge impact within service in the warranty reduction space. So if you have a product in your home that breaks down, you call a contact center. Again, you're trying to describe what's going on. They can't really see that piece. A lot of companies want to get that service as soon as possible, so they make quick decisions without having the most information that they can get. So by allowing them to see that product, they can understand whether it's a fix or whether they actually need to send a replacement. And a lot of times we're seeing a massive reduction in warranty spend because they get that right answer the first time, or they don't even have to send anybody on site at all. So, but the best results that we're seeing is that consumers and customers really appreciate these type of experiences. This is leading to over 90% CSAT scores when we're looking at them. So customers see the experience, they see that it's different, they see that the company is trying to get them answers quicker than they have before, and they're really responding to this very positively through satisfaction scores.
Interesting. Thanks, Danette. No, yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I was gonna carry that thread for just another moment, right? So what's the big deal about having better customer satisfaction scores? Well, these customers are on social media. They have neighbors, they have relatives, right? So if I'm having a great experience with a specific brand and I hear of somebody who needs to purchase that type of brand, I'm going to tell them what a great experience I had, right? I'm going to recommend, or I'm going to buy more of it, right? So that's definitely a big value add for companies that are looking to have better customer experiences. And then finally, on reducing expenses, every truck roll, there's a cost associated with that. Every time I send a technician to go somewhere to do something, there is a cost associated with that. So if I can reduce the amount of sending somebody to do something, if I do less of that, my expenses are instantly going to be reduced. And if I am fixing something the very first time, the first time fix rate, again, that's going to be another reduction in expenses because I don't have to roll a truck a second time or a third time to resolve a problem. And augmented reality is absolutely helping build that out and providing instant value to our customers.
Thanks, Tim, and thanks, Danette. Yeah, again, it's really interesting to see this really cool technology play out in real-world examples that both Danette and Tim have talked about. I mean, it's across industries, real value, helping real companies grow and build their business. So great. So thank you all very much for run through those questions. Let's get on to that demo. I'm going to pass it over to Tim here, and we'll go from there. Tim, are you ready for that?
I believe I am.
All right.
And Joe, yeah, thanks for setting the bar very high on the demo as well. I'll see if I can deliver. So what are we looking at here? On the right-hand side, this is the ServicePower mobility application. This is where we have one of our natural integrations with Streem. So this would be the field service person, a technician or a field adjuster for an insurance company, somebody who's going somewhere to do something is going to use the ServicePower mobility application to do their job. We'll get to the left-hand side, which is a screen share or a share of my actual phone here in a moment. So as that technician, I can log into ServicePower, and I can take a look at how's my day looking, what's my schedule like. I can start doing things like check-in. So essentially it's a digital time card. We're going to timestamp that and GPS stamp it. So where was I when I did that, and when did I do that? So now we're tracking time. I can take a look at, again, all the different work that I have to do. I can open up my schedule, and I can see, okay, well, the first appointment I have here is with Diane. I can get a little advanced view on what it is that I'm going to be working with. So, some of the things that are going on with this this specific work order. And I can also do things like give Diane a phone call, right? I can call directly or launch an automatic or automated IVR call. And I can basically use any sort of navigation application that I'm most comfortable with. So I can launch my mobility app, my navigation app, to get me to the location that I'm going to as quickly as possible. So we can go ahead and start travel. Again, this is going to be a timestamp and a GPS stamp. So we're keeping track of where did the travel begin? Of course, where does it end? How long did it take for us to get to that location? So all this information is being tracked and then saved back into ServicePower and shared with other systems. That's the thing about our mobility application is it is incredibly extensive, meaning there's a lot of ways to interoperate, a lot of ways to customize things, and also integrate with other systems. So we've arrived. I can stop my travel, and now I can open up open up my my work order, and I'm now getting more information available to me. Certainly, I can do things like add parts to the job. I can take pictures of the work done, create estimates, things of that nature. But we're here to see how Streem is going to be able to help us work better. So I'm getting more information, right? I might have a knowledge base on how to fix the item that I'm working on. I might have some forms that I need to fill out before I even knock on the door. I can take a look at asset history or even diagrams of the asset that I'm going to be working on. But we are here to work with, scroll up a little further here, show the integration with Streem. So if I needed to start a Streem session, so let's say I had to dial an expert, or if we wanted to, even before we started travel, we wanted to dial up the customer here and see if we can view the damage, the roof damage, or the fender dent in an insurance case, or we want to see the asset, what's going on with the thing that I'm going to be working on, right? I can start my Streem session. And what this is going to do, as Danette was mentioning earlier, basically we have this pro or expert look, and I can begin the session. So I have the information about necessarily the customer. I could send a text message. I can also send an email or copy the link. But as Danette mentioned earlier, there is no application for doing a core Streem session. There's nothing I need to download. All I need is my my mobile device over here on the left-hand side of the screen, and the ability to be able to open up the camera. So here we have the text message that I received. I can click on the link, and what I'm looking at now, as this comes up on the left-hand side, I'm going to go through the process of agreeing to terms and allowing Streem to access my microphone and camera.
While you're doing that really quick, I just want to make a note that you'll notice that the ServicePower branding was on the Streem experience on the customer side. This can be fully branded as well for companies.
Yes, yeah, excellent point, Danette. Thank you. There's no branding involved. I had to mute my microphones because on a webinar call like this, you get all that feedback that we were hearing. So by muting my microphones, I was able to do that. But one of the things I can instantly see from the professional view is that, hey, the customer's muted. So I might have to send them a text message or something like that to say, in order to speak with me, you have to unmute your microphone. So if I go on and off with that, I also have the customer could potentially turn off the video, and I'm notified as the professional that I've disabled my camera, right? So we don't want to do that. So we can start our Streem session now. There's a number of things going on here, so I can have the customer, and please pardon my my messy desk here, but I can take a look at the asset that I need to view here ahead of time. I can have the customer point at things, right? Maybe say up here on the top, there's that's where the issue is, or something like that. And I also have the tools as the professional available to me here at the bottom of my pro view. Right, so I have a laser pointer, so I can actually point a laser, and the left-hand side, the laser appears on the customer view. I have an annotation tool, so I can basically say, okay, see that logo there? That's what I'm currently annotating. Certainly, I can draw arrows. Arrow pops up, so any type of annotation is available. And I can also start to take photos. So let's take a photo. That takes what's called a Streem shot, and there's some interesting technology that goes on here that I'll show in a moment with the Streem shot. Now, as the pro is capturing images, they can put in information about it. So here's information about the asset, right? So we're saving this. This is all getting saved into the Streem session, and I believe it was Danette mentioned earlier some of the OCR capabilities. So let me go scroll back up here. I can tell the customer to point at the barcode, and we can take our Streem shot here. So that's also getting saved to the session now. And additionally, there is the GPS capability as well. So I can ask the customer, is it okay if I capture where you're located right now from a GPS standpoint? And when I do that, I'll make the request. Of course, the customer can either not allow or allow, but we'll go ahead and allow it to happen. And here you're getting the actual GPS coordinates of my location and the resolved address. So our Streem session has gone well. We've worked with our asset. We're going to go ahead and tell the customer we can go ahead and end. So I'll hang up the call on this left-hand side. And we'll make the screen a little bigger here. So this is the post-Streem session. All the information that's getting captured and saved about the session. So I'm getting some basic information saved, including the GPS coordinates and the resolved address for those coordinates. You can see that there's actually some processing going on here. So this is a video. This is the entire recorded session of that process. I can see that there were 2 stream shots. And if I scroll down, I can of course add notes. So this was a Streem session for the webinar. So we can add notes. If I need to go back to the notes, I can always go back and add additional information. And of course, looking down here, I'm seeing a couple things. So when I took a picture of my asset, I'm seeing the asset itself, the note that I took. But this is really interesting in the Streem shot that the technology actually tries to tag the information. Is it perfect? No, but it actually caught some pretty interesting things here, right? It's looking at maybe cookware and bakeware, so it's a metallic-looking coffee cup, crock. It might have caught other things in the background, so it might be looking at my little charger in the background, thinking that's audio equipment because it sees the wire. So that's very interesting. And then the OCR work here captured the serial number, the actual serial number based off of the barcode that's on the asset there that I took a picture of. Finally, I have the ability, if I scroll to the top, is since this is linked or this is a online session, I can copy the link, right? And I could actually share this link in a read-only kind of mode. So if I paste and go to the link, this could be shared back to the customer, right? We could put that in a text or an email, send it back to the customer so they have it for their records. This could be shared with other technicians. It can be used for training purposes. And especially from a field service perspective, it is attached, or it could be attached directly inside of the work order management system, the CRM, the ticketing system, how these different events are being tracked. So it's all there. In the insurance space, it would also be along the lines of the claims management system that an insurance company is working with. Whether it be a Duck Creek or a Guidewire or a Salesforce, anything like that is instantly shared as well and made part of the record. So again, remember one of the things we talked about was training as well. So being able to use the video that was created for training purposes. So everything's here that I needed. The augmented reality works great. I'm able to increase my first-time fix rates, train apprentice technicians, capture and save information for an insurance claim or as just part of the work order management system. But it's very powerful AR technology that gets married up with the ServicePower solution. So hopefully, Joe, I lived up to expectations there. At that point, I'm going to make you the presenter again, and we'll see if there are other questions to be answered.
So Tim, I would actually like to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but with the object recognition piece down in the stream shots, I just want to share a story that I have of a personal experience, which is that I used to engage with a brand who sold stereo equipment. And through that process, they realized that people were calling their speakers that were in bathrooms, say bathroom speaker or something of that nature. And they found that they had higher fail rates in speakers where they were naming them bathroom speakers. And because of that, they actually proactively put in a fix to make those speakers waterproof because they realized the how many times they were actually being used in high humidity areas. So when you look at the object recognition, this is where the power of AI really comes in. It is recognizing other elements inside that room that maybe that consumer doesn't necessarily feel are relevant to the call today, but is extremely relevant to that company as they start to identify trends with their products and how they need to interact and be more proactive in the future. So this type of service is the service that's going to be the staple for the future. And being more intuitive and understanding those spaces and being able to make decisions based on, just what you receive from that Streem call is extremely powerful.
Great examples, Jeanette. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right, Joe, we're sending it back to you.
All right, thank you both. And yeah, Tim, it's Olympic season, so the bar was set high, but you cleared it. Very good, very interesting. And yeah, from my perspective, I can't imagine having a field service call or working with an adjuster without this kind of technology now. I mean, it just seems so very useful and so important. And we all have frustrations. I know I've had frustrations with working with a rep online that either I cannot understand what he or she might be saying or asking me, and vice versa. So it's really great stuff and great to see it in action. So, okay, great. Danette, anything else to share before we move on to some Q&A?
No, I think we're ready for the questions.
All right, great. Well, got a bunch of people online, a bunch of questions here. We'll try to get to at least a couple. And again, we'll follow up if we don't get to them all. But so actually interesting. One question came in. Where do you see this technology going over the coming years? Very interesting what's going on now, but where is it going? So I'm going to hand it over to you folks. But me, I'll just start with, I think we're starting to see the technology become less expensive, and Danette pointed out the mobile ability, easier to implement, and in general more mainstream. So that can lead to all kinds of things, I imagine. But Danette, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with reducing those barriers to be able to use this type of technology. Look at LiDAR technology, for instance. Just a few years ago, that was only available at highly complex pieces of machinery. And now it's available on your iOS devices if you're lucky enough to have an iPhone 12 or an iPad Pro. So as these devices become more empowered with AR, it's going to allow the opportunity to have more interaction with AR. So I think, in the very near future, if not in the next year or so, it is going to be a staple of all of our experiences moving forward, just like the one I mentioned for service earlier.
Great, yeah, I would agree, and I certainly hope so. Like I said, I can't imagine doing it without this kind of stuff. But Tim, anything to add?
Oh yeah, so I was actually thinking about this morning because I do nothing other than sit around and think about AR technology. But things like inspections, like a home inspection or sales, right? Maybe not necessarily a home, but maybe like car dealership or RV dealerships, being able to interact with the customer from home and letting them look at a vehicle. Have the customer, say, oh, hey, would you mind opening up the hood? Would you mind, zooming in on the stick shift, or, touring through an RV? Okay, can we have a look at the bathroom now? Things of that nature. So, really helping that sort of process, and anywhere where you have somebody going in the home to do something. So that's kind of the tagline we have here at ServicePower. We're managing somebody to go somewhere to do something. It's this technology, I think, is going to become more and more valuable for our customers.
And I'll add one more thing to that as well, as when a lot of companies think about augmented reality, a lot of them have probably played around with it in the past and had a lot of tech debt with it. So the way that you can use augmented reality, you don't have to have CAD drawings and complex use cases and processes that take 2 to 3 years to build out. You can use very simple AR applications to make a huge impact. And Tim, you had some great examples, and I would agree with every single one of them. But I think it's important for everybody to know that it's not a expensive or drawn out process to be able to utilize these type of tools. It's actually very, very easy.
Great, thanks, Danette. Thanks for adding that. Appreciate it. For me, it looks. The usability seems great and easy, and that's what makes it appealing from my perspective. Interesting question came in. Do you meet any resistance from customers because of the technology? I mean, so I guess is there a learning curve, or do people get it? Do some people I imagine are more or less familiar with technology than others, but can you talk to that at all about any resistance from customers or not getting it? It's a little too high tech or not?
Yeah, probably because we have a very consumerized experience that's inside your mobile devices, that does release a lot of that tension. But there are still some apprehensive pieces that people have when they start looking at this type of experience. And the best thing that we can do is to really advise and help companies understand that looking at your processes and workflows are going to be able to empower and enable these type of experiences and technology more. So it's more about putting it into a process and workflow that makes sense for whatever you are trying to solve and accomplish. If the customer on the end sees the value in that and sees that they can reduce exponentially the amount of effort and time that they have, they're usually pretty open to the new technology because it is so easy to engage with, and it just feels like another tool. It doesn't feel like, an out there augmented reality experience.
Yeah, I don't mean to keep going back to 2020, but I think all of us are now pretty proficient on using Zoom, right? Using these online meetings and things of that nature. And so the technology, as we saw in the demo, it's not difficult to use. It really doesn't require much interaction from the end customer, the homeowner, the shop owner. It's really just take your camera, point, and click. And this technology is going to continue to evolve and get better, not only on the Streem side, but also on the phone side, right? How far have these Androids and iPhones come in the last, let's just say, 5 years? So the technology is really cool, and I'm very excited about where this stuff is going.
Absolutely. Yeah, great point too on, it's interesting to see how far things have changed, how much things have changed in the last 16 months, right? So the pace of acceleration is really increasing. I want to do one last question. If we could squeeze one more in. The question is, are there any particular industries where you see AR being exploited the most or more than others? I know we certainly touched on different, from insurance to retails and electronics, but anything you're seeing out there, Danette or Tim?
Yeah, it's pretty industry agnostic as far as I'm concerned. We really see there's a few different solution areas where companies are focusing on across industries. So obviously the service space is a great space where you interact with the field, and that is something that we're seeing as a major win. Some of these are, even the home appliance area, so that space, consumer electronics, anything with manufacturing is an area that's a really high use area where you have a complex piece of machinery that you need to get eyes on to be able to fix. We're also seeing this, in the sales solution area. So if you've got field service technicians, or if you've got a sales and service type of workforce where you can send the same technician out to scope a deal as part of that account, we're seeing a high use case in that around the energy industry, as well as again, manufacturing and kind of those areas where you need to get eyes on. So those are probably the biggest industries that I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my day-to-day is pretty much focused on field service, but there are certainly other areas. But I even think about, kind of an extension of the insurance space. We have customers that go out and inspect heavy equipment. They inspect things like industry level boilers, right? So these boiler systems that you would find at prisons and hospitals and universities, any large building. They insure and inspect these all the time, and they're sending folks, these high-tech experts out to do that. Well, certainly we're gonna send somebody out once a month to do that, but do we have to go out once a month? Maybe we just go out and visit twice a year, and for the other months we just do a remote session, right? So I think anywhere that you see somebody in the field doing some kind of work, there's probably going to be a use for this. I would find it hard to imagine that there's not.
Yeah, there's a piece that you touched on there. It's especially with insurance, it's the quality assurance as well. So again, I can't stress enough that having that recording and being able to do an assessment and recording that space as it was when you made that fix, that resonates across all industries. Just being able to protect yourself and understand that the way that you left that site is recorded and that everything is completely, you know, we can go back to that and refer back to it if there was ever any question. That's also highly sought after as well.
Great. All right, well, Danette, thank you very much for your time and insight, exciting, fascinating stuff. So really appreciate it. Tim, thank you very much for your insight and the demonstration. It was great. And I want to thank everybody for attending, and hope you found it useful. And please don't hesitate to reach out to either Streem or ServicePower if you want some more information on it. Thanks very much, everyone.